What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and because you guys smashed that like button on the Shining Sarcophagus profile way above 50 likes in the first 24 hours, I thought I would bring you a combo video with a test stand video all in one. So, because the deck is relatively straightforward and simple, your idea is to get from one card, work your way all the way to another. I'm going to start the video off by showing you a basic one card combo for the deck that you're going to be using step by step, and this will be a one card combo. If you do have other cards in your hand, you can start adding to your end board. But the idea is that from this one particular card, this one particular route, you end up with a targeted protection or a targeted negate, a spell negate, and then you're ideally trying to push that a little bit further as well. Sometimes you can choose to have a spell negate and battle protection if you wish. So we're going to start off with Future Silent. Now, my opinion on this one, this deck will struggle against Droll and Lockbird. So you want to activate Future Silence as early as you possibly can, so you can play around Droll and Lockbird. So by doing it during the draw phase, you get to add a monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from the deck to the hand, and it means your opponent cannot droll you. So you're going to activate Future Silence in the draw phase. This one's going to allow you to add the Gadget Trio. Then unfortunately you will move into your main phase and normal summon your Gadget Trio to allow you to, if it's on normal or special, you get to add a Shining Sarcophagus or a spell and trap that mentions it. If you already open up the Shining Sarcophagus, then of course you're going to be going up for a different card. But in this scenario, we're just going to go for the Shining Sarcophagus. Now, unfortunately, if you do get drolled here, you are in a bit of a sticky situation. So that's why you need to be very, very careful of it. Luckily, at this exact moment in time, something like Droll and Lockbird is more so in the side deck than in the main deck. Then what you're going to do is you're going to activate for the rest of this turn. Now, the ones you're probably going to want to go to more times than not will be your Silent Magician 0, as this one will provide you with a spell negate, and you'll also go for your Silent Swordsman, as this will provide you with a targeted protection. So if they try to imperm this, then you have the ability to negate it. Another one you might want to go for is the Maw Marshmelon, but this is one of those scenarios that if you hard open up the Maw Marshmelon or the Shining Sarcophagus, then you can actually search out the Maw Marshmelon and it just adds to your end board, because then what you do is during the battle phase, you drop down the Marshmelon, and then your opponent cannot destroy these by battle. That's what happens when you extend your combo to a 2-card combo, but for now we're keeping it as a 1-card combo. And what you're going to do here is you're going to pass your opponent's turn, and what you need to remember is that both of these cards will increase their levels and in turn increase their attack points when certain things happen. So during the standby phase, you increase this card's level by 1, and it will gain 500 attack for each level that is then increased. Also on top of that as well is if you do negate the activation of a targeted effect, you get to increase this card's level by 1. Again, you'll gain an additional 500. The exact same thing kind of happens for the Silent Magician as well, is that you get to increase it by level by 1 if you negate the spell activation and increase this card's level by 1, gaining it 500. And then also if your opponent draws a card, increase this card's level. So very easily during their draw phase, this will also gain. So standby phase, this will go up to a level 5 being a base of 1500, and draw phase, this will then also go up to a 1500 being a base of 1500 as a level 5. Now that's where the Marshmelon comes in, because it means that these can't be attacked. But every time your opponent draws a card, you're going to increase the level on this one. And then when you negate the target effect, you'll also increase the level on this one. The idea is at the very minimum, now that Gadget Trio has pretty much done its job, it is relatively not dead, but it's kind of done everything it needs to. The only thing you'll get is if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to set the trap card. But as you see, this is your basic 1-card combo. This is what you kind of want to be ending with. You're still going to have 4 more cards to play with. And like I said, if any of those is a mixture of these cards or the ability to get to Marshmelon, you then drop that during the battle phase, and then it means your opponent cannot destroy anything by battle. Well, they have to get through the Marshmelon first, and that's just going to float into another copy of itself if you choose to play 2. So that's it for the very basic combo. I thought I'd show you where this deck kind of starts and technically ends. And then what I'll do is I'll show you some randomized test stands just so you can kind of see what you're going to be doing when you're digging through this. Now, obviously, you do have 6 ways to get to, technically 9 ways when you include the Shining Sarcophagus to get to your Gadget Trio and everything else in between. So that's what you're really trying to do, and that's kind of the bread and butter of the deck, which is why you also play stuff like Pot of Prosperity to help increase your consistency for it as well. You could play Pot of Desires, and the benefit of that one is your Gandora, which is your OTK killer, will obviously get a little bit stronger. And in this exact scenario that I just ended the board with, you basically can then use the Gold Sarcophagus or the Shining Sarcophagus effect to search out the Gandora during the next main phase. Summon down that Gandora, nuke the entire board except the Shining Sarcophagus, summon out another one, which could be your Gadget Trio. That will then trigger to search out another piece, and then you just summon another one down, and you're ideally pushing for an OTK, which is really kind of cool. So what we're going to do here is we're going to shuffle up, we're going to cut up, and then we'll do 2 random test stands, one going first and one going second, to show you what this deck can do. So starting off with our opening hand of 5 being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as you can see here, we've obviously got the combo started all the way off the back of the Fusion Silent, but we've also already opened up the Shining Sarcophagus. Shining Sarcophagus, so I'll show you how you can add to it. And on top of that as well, you also open up Turn Silence. Now this is another one of them cards, if you've already opened up like a combination of the Ties That Binds or something else along those lines, you'll want to go for this card. So this lets you target a face-on monster your opponent controls and increase its, one monster you control, increase its level by 3. So that will make your Silent Swordsman or your Magician stronger. But if you activate this card in response to your opponent's monster's activation while you control Shining Sarcophagus and a monster that mentions it, you get to negate that opponent's effect. During damage calculation, if your monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus battles, you get to banish this card from the graveyard to end the battle phase. So that's how you can get past Tempers as well, which is really cool. So draw phase, we're going to activate Future Silent to add a monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus. We're going to go for the Gadget Trio. You're then going to normal summon down the Gadget Trio. You're going to use this effect. Now, obviously, in this scenario, we've already opened up the Shining Sarcophagus. So what I would then go for is you get to add a spell trap that mentions it. So that's how you're going to get the Ties That Bind. And then you'll activate the Shining Sarcophagus. Again, this one then lets you add anything. So this is how you're going to add the Marshmallow to the combo. So we're going to activate that. We'll get the Marshmallow. And then you're going to activate the Ties That Bind. You're going to target the Gadget Trio. This is then going to allow you to get 2 more from the deck, which will, of course, be your Silent Swordsman. And, of course, will be your Silent Magician. You're then going to set one of the Turn Silence. You can only activate 1 Turn Silence per turn, so you might as well hold one back, because then you can quick effect use it during your turn as well when it comes back to you. And then what you've got on the back of the more money in defense, protecting all of these. So we'll play it through to our opponent's turn, just so you can kind of see how it would go. So during the standby phase, during the draw phase up to 1500, during the standby phase up to 1500, and then your opponent now needs to, you can now absorb a spell negate or a spell activation, and you can also absorb a targeted negation, and then if they activate anything, you can chain the Turn Silent, increase either one of these by 3 more levels, so it will make them a base of a level 8, and in doing so, it then gives them 2k attacks, so these are 3k base on either one of these that you choose to increase their levels by, and you've also negated it. If that wasn't enough and they then go to the battle phase, in the battle phase you can then activate the more Marshmallow to summon itself down. It now means your opponent has to attack this, and it can't be destroyed by battle while you control Shining Sarcophagus. So even if they do destroy this by card effect, which is why I quite like playing a second more Marshmallow, I can then special summon out another more Marshmallow, except the exact same copy, which will allow me to float into this. Now I don't believe... I'm assuming there is a bit of text on this. Yeah, you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. I was like, there must be a bit of text on that that says that's a hard once per turn. Otherwise, you just go, okay, cool, attack and float. But it now means that they have to destroy the second copy in doing so. So what we'll do is we'll carry on playing through to our opponent's turn. So we'll draw a card for turn. Gandora. I mean, even if I didn't draw the Gandora, just for the sake of this test and purpose, there we go, just draw a random card. So then what it means is we can now go in the main phase, use the Shining Sarcophagus effect. This will then allow us to add the Gandora G from the deck to the hand. And then what you do is this one gains 300 attack for each banished card. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If you control Shining Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from the hand, pay half your life points to destroy as many other cards on the field as possible. And if you do, banish them, and then special summon a level 7 or lower monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from the deck and increase its level by the number of the cards destroyed by this effect. Now the reason that is so good is Shining Sarcophagus cannot be destroyed by anyone's monster effects, even your own. So what you get to do here is you can special summon down the Gandora G. You can then use this effect, paying half your life points. Yes, of course, you would lose your board, but keep that in mind. Like, if you have a decent board built up, then you're not going to get rid of it. I'm just using this as an example to show you how you can clear your opponent's entire board. And then in doing so, what you'd want to do here is you have 2 options. Is you can summon out the Gadget Trio. This will then trigger the Gadget Trio's effect to then search you out a spell or trap that mentions it. Bring back, basically, the access to your second Silent Swordsman and your second Magician 0. So this is just an example of how you can end your board here. On this exact material, like what you've got to remember about ones, not to mention whatever else you've banished to your opponents. If you do play Pot of Desires, then of course it's going to get even stronger as well. But the idea is that at the base minimum right now, you've got 1,000 there, 1,300 there, 1,000 there, and then 1,200 there. Not so amazing, but what you've done here is if you can't confirm you're going to get the OTK, is you've actually built up a defensive board. Now, if you do feel that you can get the OTK, then what I would suggest is off of the back of the Gandora G, when you are summoning one from the deck, summon out the Silent Magician. And in doing so, you increase its level by the number of cards destroyed. So if you were to destroy it, in this example, we've destroyed 4 of our own, and then however many of your opponent's ones, keeping in mind it destroys all cards, which is really, really important, you then get to increase your Silent Magician's level. So, for example, in this exact same scenario, this would then gain 2k. So this will be a 3k base, right? Your Gandora is 1,200. So at the moment, you've got 4-2 going in directly. And this is on the destroyed, I don't know, 3 more monsters and 2 more spells. This would then go up by another 5, which makes its baseline of 55. Math is right, yeah, 55 base. And then because you have banished an additional 5 cards, this would then be a base of a 27. So then straight away, 3, 6, 9, 12, yeah, 27. 27. So you've now got a 5-5 going in. Yeah, 5-5 going in, 27 going in, so that should be enough to complete your game there already. So you completely control the board. You still have 3 more cards to play with. Obviously, it doesn't matter what they are, but it's just kind of a scenario that I wanted to walk you through, just so you can kind of see exactly how you can push for an OTK. So you've got the I can get OTK, summon out a Silent Magician or a Silent Swordsman that is going to increase its level, or you're going to be summoning out a Gadget Trio and then trying to build up a defensive board again. So what we'll do is we'll go second. Now, like I said, this deck is very linear. It is all about getting to this Shining Sarcophagus. It might get different when we get the Dark Magician and that, but we've legit just got these cards, so we're not getting those until Infinite Forbidden, so don't expect to... I wouldn't get too far ahead of yourself. Like, grab these cards while they're cheap and easy to get, and then just sit and watch as they probably go up in price when we do get the new support. And it's probably all confirmed as secret rares. Crazy. Anyway, so we're going to cut up. We're then going to show go in second, so our SIP card will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the chances are we've used both of these on our opponent as they were in our opening hand of 5. So we've weakened our opponent's board already. We then have the ability of activating the Future Silence. This then, again, you're probably going to go down the exact same combo route. I wouldn't imagine going anything more wild than this, just because you would then go for the Gadget Trio. The only difference is you're going to go a little bit more aggressive. So you'd go Gadget Trio, lead you into Shining Sarcophagus. Now, if you wanted to be more aggressive, what you could do here is rather than going directly for the Ties That Bind, is you would go for the Gandora, because we are going second. Then you'd summon down the Gandora, use his effect, nuke the board, which will obviously destroy all of your opponent's cards, and then only the Gadget Trio. Keep in mind, if it's destroyed by Battle of Card Effect, again, you'll get the Trap card. Obviously, I didn't do it in the last turn because we were going for the OTK kill, only if you're playing it. But this will give you the Stronghold Fortress. Then it will also allow you to summon one from the deck, so you're probably going to want to go for a Silent Magician 0, or it may be. There we go. So your Silent Magician 0, again, will be increased. The only one that we have destroyed is one of our own, so it would only go up by 1 from our side, but then however many you've destroyed your opponents, I can't imagine they've left an empty board there. So again, let's say we've destroyed 5 more there, so we've destroyed 6 in total. So you're then going to be buffing this even more. And then you've got the idea that you're going to be pushing in for as much damage as possible. Keep in mind that during your opponent's turn, you still now have the Marshmallow, which will protect both of these from being destroyed by battle. You also have the Fortress that allow you to special summon it, and it will gain 1,000 attack for each Shining Sark and monster that mentions it. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it'll be a 4K attacker with a 2K defender. And then when your opponent wants to declare an attack while you control Shining Sark, you get to destroy that monster, and they have to attack this. So again, you're just going to go, cool, first attack, destroy it through the back of the effective Stronghold, and then they destroy this, you float into the second one. Now, unfortunately, it would lose you a bit of hand advantage because the other Marshmallow is in your hand, but that's just part and part of it. And that is pretty much it. So it's a very interesting deck. I do like the way that it works. I do like the idea that it's very basic. It's like, right, okay, go first. I want to end with, at the base minimum, I want to end with this. Go in second. I want to be ideally ending with something along the lines of this. Obviously, with the Sark in play at all times, where at all possible. So you've still got that, and then you still have other cards in your hand to play around with. Like, we already made our opponent eat 2 hand traps as well. So that's where you can get a nice bit of balance with this deck. And that's why I think the new support would be really, really kind of cool for this deck. But I also feel that it's not one of these decks that I would go out and pay like £150 to £200 for. It's one of them ones that currently I think you could very easily pick out a Shining Sark for like £7, I believe, the last time I saw it. The Gandora is like £4 was the last time I saw it. The Ultras aren't hugely valuable. And then the Silent Magician comes as a promo for £10 or a secret rare for like £5, I think was the last time I saw it. Also, the Future Silence is like £6 to £8. So again, it's all relatively cheap. It's just the issue is that you need so many of them. You need... if you're counting this as a secret, probably because it's easier to get, you need 4 secrets. So the Future Silent, Silent Magician, Gandora, and then the Sark. And of all of those secrets, you only need one of them not at free, which is the Gandora. You'll need 2 of. And then for the Ultra Rares, you need the Gadget Trio, you need the Silent Swordsman, and you need the Ties That Bind that are all like probably like less than £5 a piece. Anyway, that is it for the tyre combo and test stand video. I hope this has given you an insight into the deck itself, what you can do with it, how it kind of operates, and hopefully you do enjoy it. I highly advise you testing it out online. It's one of them decks that if you're a Yu-Gi fan like myself, you're going to want to be looking at getting. And also, if you can pick it up cheap enough, it's definitely one getting for nostalgia feels. And the deck can do okay. I mean, it is very susceptible to certain lines of hand traps that you saw in the generic line of play we went through. Like, it would pretty much eat an Ash Blossom, a Droll, an Imperm as well, which can be quite damaging. But it still gives you a very decent outcome of what you want, and it is very basic, so it's quite a nice, easy deck to learn as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.